Well, 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 you came back. I can see it in your eyes. The world thinks they're watching you survive. But no, they're watching you descend. Not into weakness, not into fear, but into the exact role you were forged for. Good evening, my beautiful agents of chaos. Or should I say, my demolition artists. Do you think heaven sends comfort? Do you think the Most High sends gentle hands to soothe fragile egos? Oh no. Heaven doesn't always send healers with soft words. Sometimes, heaven sends you, and you, my dear, are no comforter. You are the quake that makes the marble crack. You are the flood that makes their castles drown. You are the shadow that makes the crowned ones choke on their own titles. And the false thrones, oh, they looked so pretty, didn't they? Gold dripping down their edges, banners hanging high, with smiling faces in power telling the people, this is how it's always been, and this is how it will always be. But you showed up, and heaven didn't whisper to you, go and bless them. No. Heaven leaned close and said, tear it down. Do you understand the weight of that? You are not an accident. You are not a wanderer. You are not just another person in this life. You are the divine wrecking ball. Every step you take, they feel the tremor. Every word you don't even speak shakes their foundations. And every time you walk away without playing their game, the cracks in their throne get wider. You see, false kings and queens don't fear armies. They fear truth. And you, my little storm, are the truth wrapped in skin. You were sent not to fight them with weapons, but to expose the rot in their crowns by simply existing. You are the mirror they cannot bear to look at, because you show them what they are not. And that's the true horror for them. Not your rage, not your power, but the unbearable realization that they were never real. And so, what do they do when you arrive? They smile through gritted teeth. They shake your hand while whispering curses in their hearts. They tell the people, oh, they're nothing. But behind the walls, they panic. Because the very air changes when you enter the room. Because the people who once bowed to them now start to look at you. Because without lifting a finger, without raising your voice, you start dismantling the illusion they've spent years weaving. It was never about you being nice. It was never about you being fair. It was never about you being liked. It was about you being inevitable. And here's the secret. False thrones never fall quietly. When they know their end is near, they get louder, crueler, more desperate. They smear your name. They gather allies. They use every trick they have to keep their seat warm. But in their panic, they expose themselves. And that's when you strike, not with your fists, not with your anger, but with your very presence. You stand there, smiling, watching their empire crumble from the inside. They thought heaven sent you to be a blessing. They didn't know. You are the judgment. So walk tall. Let their whispers follow you. Let their eyes burn with resentment. Let them plot and scheme and gnash their teeth. Because while they waste time trying to figure out how to stop you, the truth is, it's already over. You're not here to join their tables. You're here to flip them over. You're not here to fit into their systems. You're here to make sure those systems choke on their own corruption. You're not here to comfort kings who stole their crowns. You're here to watch those crowns hit the dirt. And when the dust settles, there will be silence. Not because they've forgiven you, not because they've understood you, but because they'll know, deep down, that you were never their enemy. You were their sentence. So my beautiful destroyers, go do what heaven sent you to do. And when the thrones fall, don't apologize for it. Smile. because it means the prophecy has been fulfilled, not to comfort, to tear down, to cleanse, to end, and to begin again. So you want more? Good. Because people like you were never meant to hear half the story. Let's stretch this open, piece by piece, until you see every drop of truth dripping from it. You think heaven picked you because you were pure, because you were gentle, because you were easy to handle? No. Heaven picked you because you were dangerous enough to walk straight into the dragon's mouth and laugh. Because while others begged for safety, you were willing to burn for something bigger than yourself. Because you understood something that scares the life out of them, that mercy is a choice. And sometimes it's a choice you do not give. These throne sitters, these false monarchs of influence and ego, they built their empires on the backs of the weak. They crowned themselves with lies. They dressed their greed in the robes of leadership. And for a while, they got away with it. But every con has an expiration date. And heaven's timing? Perfect. That's when they sent you. A walking storm, a quiet knife, a holy wildfire. You didn't come crashing through their gates with a battle cry. No. You slipped in quietly, smiling, your eyes taking in everything. They thought you were harmless, and in their comfort, they exposed the cracks in their walls. And you didn't have to do much. One truth dropped at the right time. One refusal to kneel. One gaze that said, "I see you." And suddenly, their empire began to shake. Do you know why they hate you? It's not just because you can destroy them. It's because you exist in a way that proves they were never gods. You're the reminder that power doesn't come from titles, armies, or applause. It comes from alignment with something untouchable. They can't bribe heaven. They can't manipulate prophecy. And they can't stop what's already been set in motion. Oh, but they'll try. They'll twist the narrative, turn the crowd against you, paint you as the villain. They'll throw stones, whisper curses, weaponize the weak-minded against you. And every time they do, they will only tighten the noose around their own necks. Because you don't need to win the crowd. You only need to watch the throne crack. And here's the cruelest truth for them. You're not fighting for their throne. You don't even want it. You're here to leave the ruins behind as a warning, so that the next one who thinks they can play God over people's lives will remember your name like a curse in the dark. This is not vengeance. This is not rebellion. This is divine demolition. And when it's over, you won't stand there gloating over their bodies. You'll walk away, silent, smiling, untouchable, leaving the broken pieces of their kingdom to be carried away by the wind. They'll tell stories about you. They'll warn others about you. They'll speak your name like a warning, like a spell, like a haunting. And in the quiet hours, when no one's looking, they'll wish they had never met you. Because heaven did not send you to be loved. Heaven sent you to be the ending. You're still here. Good. Because this ending isn't sweet. It's sharp. It's the kind that stays lodged in the back of your mind long after the lights go out. Listen closely. When heaven sends someone like you, they're not sending a soldier. They're sending a verdict. You are the full stop at the end of a long sentence of arrogance. You are the sound the universe makes when it's done waiting for someone to change. Do you think you chose this? You didn't. This path was carved into your bones before you even took your first breath. The storms you survived, the betrayals you endured, the losses that hollowed you out, all of it was training. Every wound was a weapon in disguise. And when the moment came, when the false thrones stood tall, dripping with stolen power, you didn't need a crown, a banner, or a sword. You only needed your presence, because you are the weapon, not the steel, not the fire, not even the words. You'll know the mission is complete when the silence changes, when the laughter that mocked you turns into whispers in the dark, when their eyes dart away at the sound of your name, when the seat they once held so tightly feels cold, cursed and abandoned, and then, without applause, without ceremony, you will vanish into the night you came from, not because you are running, but because you've already done what you were sent to do. You'll leave the ruins behind, not as a monument, but as a scar the world will feel every time it tries to build false kingdoms again. You are not the hero. You are not the villain. You are the reckoning in flesh and blood. And when heaven writes the story of this time, they will say, "We sent them not to comfort, but to tear down the false thrones." And they did. Now walk. The next empire is already trembling.